Cheer, cheer the red and the white, honor the name by day and by night.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Swans Bigfooty Podcast. My name is Bonz. Joining me today we have Swans Rule.
Hey, g'day.
Chunkychicken.
Hey.
And joining us for the very special grand final edition is Punts.
How are you guys?
Now, where to start? We had a fantastic 37-point win set up by one of the most brutal first halves that we have played in a few years. And now we are in the grand final against the Western Bulldogs. Now, according to the media, the Dogs already have it won. It's a one-man grand final and we don't even exist. And that's the reason I'm guessing you Swans fans are listening to this podcast. We will give you... This is a Sydney Swans podcast, not a Western Bulldogs podcast. It'll allow us to talk about our team and not read about the Dogs all week. And we're going to start off with a review of the Geelong Sydney preliminary final. Punts, do you want to take us away?
Yeah, well, they got off to a flyer, didn't they? First bounce, I think it was Parker who just tried running out of the centre with the ball, and ever since then the tackle pressure was up and repeat inside 50s. Buddy sort of took control of the first quarter with a couple of good kicks going inside 50, and just the pressure around the ball, just the numbers we had around the ball. Dangerfield and Selwood is pretty much their midfield, and they just couldn't handle it, even though them two boys played well, but the rest of them just dropped off big time with just pressure around the ball was just far too much, and everybody pretty much stood up. The forward pressure was unbelievable, midfield pressure, and then even though they had 70 odd inside 50s, for them to score, I think it was 60 odd points was pretty good defending. I don't think we can can on that every week of getting 70 odd inside 50s against the Western Bulldogs or anything like that, but that's a good defence standing up with 75 or 70 odd inside 50s, even though there was a lot of high bombs, but the ball still comes to ground and you've got to get it out of there. So yeah, good effort by the boys.
Swans Rule, what are your thoughts about the game?
Look, before you'd even had time to sit down and scratch your ass and adjust your pants, the Swans just had the game pretty well in hand. That was like an awesome start. Just really, it was unbelievable, even from McGlynn kicking that first goal. I think it was McGlynn. And then Mitchell ducking and weaving and getting that handball out to Parker, I think it was, and he kicked a couple of goals. And I think really Buddy set the tone early. I know he probably didn't end up best on ground for a lot of people, but I thought when the game was won, he was the one strutting about. So he liked setting Tippett up with a couple of goals to get him going. And I thought he was pivotal in getting the game set up. The other person I thought, two other people I was worried about, Rowan going into the game, obviously after being injured, and Jones coming back from being knocked out 2 weeks ago and not playing senior footy much, but they were both instrumental in their energy and their vigour, and Jones' run off half-back was just outstanding. Tommy Mitchell, when he plays like that, it's like get the contract out and re-sign, give him what he wants, because the way he played was outstanding. I thought Jack tackled well. He didn't get a lot of the ball, but his defensive stuff was really good. I think everyone just had their little moments, even Xavier Richards. I mean, he seems to be allergic to getting out in space. He has a bit of a brain fart, but he does his job like everyone else. So that was pleasing, especially with Aaliyah going down as well. And then Buddy got a bit of a knock, Kennedy got a knock, Parker got a knock. So we were playing a bit sore in the end and held on. But the tackling pressure, 102 tackles when you've got more of the ball, I think you're going to win more often than you lose. So that was pleasing. And it's just the way they've come out and responded from that GWS loss has been pretty impressive. Look, that's probably mainly it. I think the only other person I would probably mention was Rampy. I thought he was one of our best for most of the game as well, dominating down there back to his best. Then Nick Smith early on actually was really good too, though he faded a bit. But yeah, really pleasing win.
Chunky, what are your thoughts on the game?
Oh well, me and my partner are both at the game. I figured there's 10 minutes to go before the game starts. I'll go get myself a couple of drinks, except I got stuck in the extra slow line. So I was watching when McGlynn put the goal through and big roar and the ball's still in the centre and he's doing his magic and then it feeds out McGlynn and yeah, just the game started bang, just straight off like that. I thought we started really, really well, and Geelong they were way off the boil. They were pretty slow to the ball. Their disposal was horrible, always second best. It was pretty funny that the cheer squad was starting the Olays right after the second goal and thinking, oh shit, it's a bit early for that. And then 5 goals later, I'm even doing Olays up in the stand. So it's a really good, fun game to be at. I probably had slightly different best-ons than maybe other people did. I know I had Grundy. I'm pretty sure I had Jones as well. Rampy as well. I think I had them as like 2 of my top 4 or top 5. I know I certainly had Grundy right up there. I thought he was instrumental in keeping Hawkins quiet, and Hawkins really didn't do much, and Grundy was pretty much body to body, just beat him at every single contest except for one on the wing. Rampy was exceptional. Jones was absolutely fantastic. He was very sure. Like watching him play was very reminiscent of how Shaw played in the 012 grand final. Just grabs the ball, runs to the opposite wing, and just bangs it long or hits up a target. And his kickouts were usually pretty good, really solid, straight down the wing to a contest or out in the boundary. Overall, I thought that we shut down a lot of their run in the first half, prevented them from using the corridor, which is their very strong suit, especially when you watch Dangerfield just take it out of the clinches and bang straight up the middle. Joel Selwood, bang straight up the middle. That Muppet, bloody ducking and weaving and hanging and dropping straight up the middle, that sort of stuff. So it was really impressive to see that we actually blocked out a lot of the middle, and when they did go, they had to go long and always to numbers. It was a bit disappointing to see Ali go down, but seeing him do runs in the second quarter was really positive. Just across the field, there really wasn't any passengers. A couple of players were quiet, like Marsh. Marsh did his job pretty well. Can't remember who was playing on, but he did pretty well. Then Hewitt had 9 tackles. I can't remember which reporter it was on the AFL site was saying, oh, Hewitt was unsighted, he was just a passenger. I mean, he was really up there on the wing and also in the back flank at times, laying tackles, doing a lot of crunching stuff. When we really needed it, he was in there on his hands and knees doing the dirty work. So I thought we were really good. It was a really good, promising performance, and the fact that they never got within more than 5 goals was, really, really, really good. Really satisfied with that. So happy with that.
I wanted to also point out 2 players from the weekend that haven't been touched on too much in this podcast so far. First one was Isaac Heaney. Yet again, I had him for best on ground on the weekend, especially in the first half. He really set us up with a play, and his change into a midfield role almost feels like it was our secret weapon that we've been...
Isn't he?
Sorry?
He's just class. Like that one-handed mark he took, he's just a level above with his use of the ball compared to half the other midfielders in that team.
I don't know. I reckon Naismith did a better job, to be honest. His one-handed mark and party time. How good was that?
I was more impressed with Naismith's tackling on the weekend. That was superb. He had 9 tackles and he throws his body around like a madman.
And that was at 3/4 time too. He didn't even lay one in the last quarter.
Yeah, we had the game won then. We could put the queue in the rack.
I just loved his one-handed mark, party time, big clunky.
What about
Ruffin.
Papley? He was good.
That goal in the last was excellent.
The other player I did also want to mention from the weekend gets a lot of shit on the forums, and he got himself injured, so he couldn't kick 3 weeks before, hence ruining my prediction. But Gary Rowan was superb on the weekend. The pressure, he ran from about 40 metres away to make a couple of contests in the 4 to 50. He was scaring the pants off half the Geelong defence. He was a creative outlet for us, and he's got good disposal as well. For him to come back from looking like he was going to be out for a good 12 months, that was a huge effort on the weekend, and really showed us what the Bloods culture is all about. And I hope some Hawks fans are listening to this podcast because it still exists.
Yeah, he was a week late with your prediction, but he was really outstanding. Just his endeavour and work rate. We need that on grand final day though. So he'll be important.
I reckon
he's definitely a lot fitter than he was in previous years. Normally he'd blow up at half time or 3/4 time, and you wouldn't get much defensive forward pressure out of him. And he'd always try, but you wouldn't get much pressure out of him in the third and fourth quarter. But now he's obviously off the off season. He had that 8 weeks where he sort of did his own thing after his hamstring injury. That he's got himself a lot fitter. So now that he can run out a game, it's a whole different sort of Gary Rowan. So but that defensive forward pressure, you know what I mean? It's unbelievable sometimes that he does that. And you know, if you can get a couple of goals out of it, well, that's exactly what he's worth, because I think that we need him in the side to even win on the weekend. So I'm glad that he got through this week of training and he played on the weekend, because he's definitely an X factor.
Well, one of the things that came up big time for us during the game was the scores from turnovers. We absolutely killed them in turnovers, especially in the forward half. Obviously, there's the goal in the last quarter with the big tackle from Papley and Franklin. Poor Enright, kind of feel sorry for the guy. And then you've also got Papley sharking that handball. I think it was in the third quarter. Yeah, third quarter when he got 2. That was excellent. You know, that reminds me a lot like what Kieran Jack used to do. Just get right in there at the right time, just snatch it and run. He's like... Rowan's forward half pressure was absolutely amazing. There was one when he sharked the ball. I think it was in the third quarter when he did the same thing he did against Adelaide, just ran through, right time, right place, bang, got the ball. And yeah, he's what those two are doing, and even McGlynn adding on top of that, that is just excellent. We desperately needed that.
Yeah, even the contest with Monaghan, a lot of players wouldn't have run that hard to get to that contest. They, would have just, let him pick up the ball and get a kick out sort of thing where, Gary sprinted and it went out of bounds for a throw in. So, you always get that opportunity of a throw in and reset and, get another inside 50, whereas a lot of players, might have backed off and let Lonergan pick up the ball and, it would have gone anywhere from there. So just little things like that, a lot of people talk about, Surioli and, he doesn't get high possessions and all that sort of stuff, but it's just the little things that he does that other players shit themselves and turn over the ball, or little pressure acts, little tap-ons. So just stuff like that. Everything counts at the end of the day.
Now,
the only other one we didn't really mention, well, there's 2 of them probably, like Benny McGlynn. He looked like shit most of the year, let's be honest, but he's had a good couple of weeks, especially early. And I thought, considering he's playing with a buggered jaw, I thought Kurt Tippett was pretty important early, allowed Buddy to get up the ground. And he was causing a few headaches down there in the forward line, bringing the ball to ground. And him and Naismith, I think, will go a long way on the weekend. But and the only other one I mentioned from Geelong, like Chris Scott, I cheer pretty loudly during a game and carry on in front of the TV, but I'm not coaching a coaching a football side. Like, carries on like a pork chop in the box. It's just ridiculous. Any time Geelong have a free against them or turnover, it's like someone stole his Coke or something. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't stand
there was that Papley tackle where he got caught high and he's got his mouth wide open like one of those clowns you throw the balls at.
Yeah, that's it.
I love that. Me and my partner were watching the replay, just pissing ourselves laughing while watching that. It was just, classic Scott. Twins are idiots, but they always give us a lot to laugh at.
going on to this week's game, now apparently Aaliyah has only got a slight medial ligament strain, and is actually more likely than not to come up for this week. McVeigh is supposed to be able to come back. Mills is considered a strong chance. What do you guys see happening with the team? Chunky?
Now, obviously McVeigh wants to play a grand final, but let's face it, he's been pretty bloody awful this year. And even fully fit, he's been pretty awful. And unfit, he has been woeful. So I'm kind of hoping that he goes, I can't put my hand up. But if all 3 are up, you're basically looking at potentially Laidler and maybe Marsh or Hewitt will come out. Personally, Aaliyah stays up and then Mills gets up and he comes in for Laidler, because I don't think Laidler's going to have a lot of joy against the Dogs forward line. You got players like Hunter Smith, what's his name, number 9, having a bit of a mind blank at the moment. But they got a lot of medium-sized fast forwards, really good overhead. You've got Dixon as well. They're quite quick. Duncan, Dunkley. So they do have a lot of pace. They're not very tall. They're not very big, but a player like a Laidler would definitely be exposed. I think Harry Marsh and Mills would be better suited towards playing those back pocket roles purely for their size and pace. Foot skills probably won't be as much of an issue because you got Jones back in the side. There's no way that Jones can be dropped after that game. And I just hope Mills and Ali are in, that's all.
Punts, what are your thoughts on the ins and outs this weekend?
Yeah, I keep racking my brain as well. I think definitely, obviously, McVeigh's going to get up. He pretty much declared himself fit on Friday night. I think he'll get up, but I think if he does come in, I think he needs to play off half forward. Maybe as stiff as it will be, it might have to be for Hewitt. I think his ball use still going inside 50 is probably still the best in the teams. When he plays off half forward wing, I don't think as I said, don't want him off half back because I think he'll get turned inside out by, you say your Dalhouses, McRae's, Smiths and all that sort of, all them sort of players. He'll just get turned. He'll get burnt. So I think he needs to play. If he does come in, I think he needs to play off a half forward flank and maybe for a Hewitt just because of his ball use going inside 50. Because if Mills does come in, you can have Mills and Jones still playing off the wing half back, so you don't need McVeigh in the back line. For who? I guess, or Hewitt. I guess if Mills does come in, it's probably going to be Laidler. They're both, they both always leave their man and come across and help out. That's the sort of role Laidler's playing, at the moment with just coming off and helping out the others. And Mills plays the exact same sort of role, but obviously Mills, you get that rebound as well with his ball use and his speed. So I think it'll be Laidler for Mills if you were to look at it like that. And I guess, that are the two changes I can sort of see. McVeigh, because I can't see how Jones is going to get dropped after the weekend, and we need him, as I say, for a Dayhouse or a Smith, someone like that. So they stay in for me, and I think Ali will play.
Yeah, I hope Ali gets up personally over the weekend. Swans Rule, what are your thoughts on the ins and outs?
Well, let's presume Ali plays, and I hope he does, and it sounds probably will. McVeigh, I still think McVeigh is our best user of the ball when he plays that half-forward wing role, like Punk said. I don't think he can play off half-back anymore, and I don't think he needs to. So if McVeigh was fit and he's the captain, I think Horse will pick him anyway. So, 2 weeks ago I would have dropped McGlynn for McVeigh, but you can't drop him now. So it's sort of leaves Hewitt by default because you're not going to drop Papley, and you're not going to drop like Tippett or Buddy or Owen. So that's sort of who's left. So that's sort of Hewitt, maybe the unlucky one. Unless you just did bring McVeigh in for a Marsh or a Laidler, presuming Mills wasn't fit. If Mills is fit, I think he's such a classy user, he's got to come in. Marsh seems to be preferred over Laidler, but I'd probably actually keep Laidler over Marsh personally, but it's one of those two. So I think that's sort of where the changes will be. It might just come down to if Ali is unfit, though, McVeigh comes in for him and they shuffle the decks. But I think McVeigh's going to play on that just for the centre type role where he uses the ball, keeps it low for Buddy and Tippett. So that's sort of all I see. I don't think there'll be any other changes, though. And I'm not sure about Mills. I love Mills, obviously, and he's a classy player, but can you bring him back after playing one quarter of footy in 3 weeks? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what worries me with Mills. I do think I think he'll be McVeigh in for Laidler or Lear to play. But Mills is the interesting one.
I feel sorry for Laidler, though, when we say that.
Yeah, I do. He wasn't bad last week. In the Siders, he was actually pretty good. But, look, I think we've got enough. We don't need someone that's slow in defence on the weekend.
But we're going up against a totally different opponent. You're going from pretty much the tallest side in the AFL being Geelong to one of the smallest forward lines in the Geelong in Western Bulldogs. So it's just a whole different opposition. I think Marsh only because of leg speed, pure leg speed over Laidler.
Marsh is also a better kick than Laidler as well.
What about Hewitt, though? Don't we need Hewitt's defensive pressure?
Yeah, well, that's what I reckon.
And that's also my other thinking as to why I don't think McVeigh should come back in because, well, he's not very fast. He's a great user, but his defensive side of his game is just dire at the moment. Like he's not laying any tackles. He's not really doing much defensive pressure. He gets the ball. He uses the ball well, but he's a passenger. If the team's not going well, he's going to have zero impact on the game.
The issue is
team's
if
going
McVeigh actually does have a good game on the weekend, a good McVeigh game can win you a match of football.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's going to play.
Him as captain.
The thing is, he's going to
Mate,
play.
you go.
So he's going to play. So we might as well, as much as people don't want him to play in that, he's going to play. He'll be lining up on Saturday. He'll be running out with the team, so he'll be playing. There's no two ways about it. If he declares himself fit, Horse isn't going to turn around and say, no, the captain's not going to play over Hewitt or someone like that. So he's playing.
Hewitt,
The guy's playing.
And we can
I'll
talk
say
about
this
his
now.
tackling, which has gone a bit shit. I agree, but I mean, Parker's a great tackler, Jack's a great tackler, Mitchell, Kennedy. Like, we've got enough defensive players. We haven't got that many players who get the ball, fall to centre, and hit Buddy, lace out on the tip. McVeigh can do that at the end of the day. So I'll forgive his defensive efforts a bit if he plays forward. And at the grand final day, everything on the line, one game. I think he's shown enough to show that he's the player who'll crack in and go for it. And I've been critical of his defensive efforts all year, don't get me wrong, but a fit McVeigh is a best 22 every day of the week. It's just, so as long as he's fit, he should play. And I'll back him to be courageous enough to say, I'm right if he's not right. So hopefully that's what will happen, I guess. If he's not right, he'll put his hand up and point out that he'll point it out that he's not ready.
Now I'm going to mention some players from the Dogs, and we'll just like to get how you guys will try and cope with them on the weekend. Put yourself in Horse's shoes. First player is the obvious one, Bontempelli. A little bit inconsistent, but if we let him get off the leash, he will destroy us.
Well,
No,
off the leash.
someone go after his hip too. He got a jab on Saturday night for his hip. So someone go after him. We'll take care of him. Just a knee straight in the side. That'll be it.
I don't think we're a team that does that, luckily.
Oh, I don't care. It's a grand final. Hawthorn do it all the time. People go, oh my God, it's Hawthorn. They're
Unsociable football.
Oh my God, they can't do that. They can't do that. Who gives a flying F? They've got 3 cups for it. So who cares at the end of the day? Does Hodge really care about some bloke that said he's a bit of a dog? I don't think so. Just go after him. Hurt him. I don't care. Hurt Ling Jong too. Hurt him
Especially early.
Hurt him all.
Oh, if Hansen gets the ball and tries to run off half back,
just crunch him.
The fucking shit out of him.
Yeah. That Johannisen, he looked like on Saturday night, he looked like he was a sub when he cut in the fourth quarter. He was still running on top of the ground. The rest of the blokes were stuffed. He needs to be stopped. That's one bloke you got to go after. Maybe Ben McGlynn can do a half forward roll on him.
The best thing Horse did on the weekend was, I think it might have been, only bounced, there was a bit of a kerfuffle and they rebounced it. Rowan came steaming in off half forward and Jones came steaming in off like half back or the wing, just crashed into the contest. I want to see that shit again. Like Jones, that's why he's undroppable for mine, because he's had it harder than a cat's head. He'll run straight at someone like Bontempelli or Johansson or some of these guys, and they got the weight of the world on the Dogs. Like, we can talk about this fairy tale, but those fans haven't seen, anything since black and white bloody film day, so they're desperate to win. Like, crunch them up, the pressure's on them.
Yeah. I reckon a few head-to-heads. I reckon, say, Bontempelli with Josh Kennedy, maybe Liberatore with Tim Mitchell.
Do you reckon he'll play Bontempelli up forward, though?
Oh, he'll rotate him.
He'll rotate him like he normally does.
If he rotates Bontempelli up forward, we just stick Rampy on him.
Because he rotates Stringer off half back as well a bit to give him a little bit of a run. But Stringer's the thing with Stringer is when he's hot, he is hot. But I think Rampy can hold him if that's going to be the matchup. And there's another bloke, Hunter, as well. He gets under a lot of people's guard as well. He's a good player, Hunter. And I think maybe Lloyd.
He ducks. Fucking
yeah. He's a good player and he sets him up. He uses the ball good as well. So I think he needs to be maybe just, him and Lloyd can probably go at it off a wing, something like that. But I think it's going to be it's always one in the midfield. But, I can't say if Buddy has a day off, day out, who's going to, stop him. But there's a lot of players that, either end as well. You know what I mean? So that for them as well. But you just got to stop there. All their setups off half back. It always has been. It's your Sucklings and your Johannisons and stuff like that. Suckling I'm not too worried about, but Johannison's the one that he'd almost won the game off his own boot on the weekend with that run down the centre, and they got a goal. Bontempelli got a goal out of it. That got him going. So he's one that needs to be stopped.
And Johansson's going to get it and run and kick it. I don't think I've seen him handball. ever.
Yeah,
He just seems
yeah.
to kick it every. And Dalhouse, he's been awesome September, I reckon.
Yeah, he didn't play against us last time, so he needs to be. Oh, it's just another little that needs to be stopped. But I think
If I was coaching against the Dogs, I wouldn't give a fuck if. So I keep swearing, Bonz. I wouldn't care if Josh
No,
Dunkley
swear
got
as much as you want.
40
I'm not mod
touches,
anymore.
because he can't kick.
Yeah.
He kicks like a Swans midfielder, old Dunkley. So tag all the others. And just don't even play anyone on him. He can have 45 touches for all I care. Running around the midfield. He'll probably win the Norm Smith now. I said that, but he just doesn't hurt you like the other guys.
Well, Bontempelli hasn't had a big final series, and most of the teams have put a pretty hard
Did
tag
you miss
on
the
him.
Hawthorn game? I thought he was pretty good.
But he does things at the right time.
Yeah, he does things at the right time.
He does things at the right time, and as I
He only needs 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
His second half was pretty good against Hawthorn, but his first half was kind of completely absent. He wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah, when did they win it? They won in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And he got 27 touches. Well, even had 7 hit outs, a couple of tackles, kicked 2 goals. Like he only has to play for 10 minutes. He can't. Doesn't matter. He's not going to get 45 touches all day. He's an impact player, in my opinion.
I don't think
he needs more attention than anyone.
Well, we can't afford to go head to head with him. We have to put a hard midfielder on him, and I think Mitchell will go to him. He's going to give away height and size, but it's not like he hasn't done it before.
Tom Mitchell, Bontempelli.
Well, Bontempelli's not that fast. He's not that fast.
He's got about 10 centimetres on Mitchell.
It doesn't matter. He's going to be with him.
I'm getting on Bontempelli for the Norm Smith if Tom Mitchell lines up next week.
I reckon just go head to head with them. Him and Kennedy just go head to head. Ben McGuinn comes in with his actual head, headbutts his hip, and he has to go get jabbed.
Yeah, that's how short he is.
I think Punts should pick Nankervis this week. Just to go run through a few.
I don't care. I just want to smash these pricks. I don't care. All I'm thinking about is the 2014 final. I just want to go after him. I just want to be brutal. Be brutal. Even Liberatore, I've seen him limping on the TV. Just kick his ankle while he's on the ground. Just fucking smash him.
I'll tell you what, if Shane Biggs runs off half back and sets up play all game, I'll be spewing.
Yeah.
Absolutely spewing. You watch Dixon learn to kick on the weekend too. Hasn't been able to kick for shit this finals, but it's only about hitting them goals again. I think Stringer's an X factor for them too. Like that'll be important.
Yeah. Yep. And Rampy has to go to him. No one else but Rampy.
From memory, he got him going at the SCG, didn't he? This year.
Yeah.
He kicked a couple of crucial goals.
Just 5 minutes.
Got him going. Yeah, just 5 minutes. So that's what I said. He's played like shit this final series, but as you said, he only takes 5-10 minutes and he can win it off his own boot.
Oh, I mean, he's had the shit year, really. He was All-Australian last year, but he's dangerous. And Caleb Daniel, I like the way he goes about it. A little player, but he was a bit nervous against the Giants, so get into him early too.
Yep. Go after the pricks.
I reckon it's going to be a real physical first quarter. Just a lot of bodies hitting each other.
Yeah.
I think our biggest advantage is Tippett and Naismith. If they need to dominate the game, they need to kill him. Because Tom Boyd pinch hit in the ruck and made Mumford look second rate because Mumford was too wussy to go after anyone because he didn't want to get suspended. So I thought he played in his shell. I thought Tom Boyd actually held his own. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I reckon he played well.
Cost the GWS the game. So the Naismith
Tippett. I think Aaliyah could expose that Cordy.
Oh, yeah.
Cordy's a dud.
He'd play off him. He'll probably won't even man up on him. He won't have to man up on him.
Yeah, nah. So I reckon, and Hamling down back and that, surely Buddy can get a hold of the band. Morris normally goes to Buddy, doesn't he? Lets down a little bit of height, but...
Yeah, correct.
Oh, but if you pull him...
They just stop all those handballs. Yeah. Bloody, they handball.
Really good. They're one of the best teams. They're like us, sort of. When they get their handball game going in congestion, they're really good. One other player that
they're a nice even side.
Yeah, is Easton Wood. We can't afford to bomb it away because he reads the play so well. Easton Wood. And he plays that roll off. He rolls off his player and intercepts all day long. So we can't afford just to smack it in there and hope someone's going to mark it because his intercept markings are pretty elite. That Easton Wood. So we've got to lower our eyes like we did in the first quarter of the Geelong game.
Yeah, I agree.
Now
they've got some duds though.
Yeah,
like Hamling, Cordy, even Dixon, McLean. Who are they? Clay Smith, though, too, he was really good against the Giants, like him bobbing up for the goals, because their forward entries reminded me of ours on a shit day against the Giants. I thought, geez, that was going to cost them the game, and he just kept bobbing up and kicking goals.
They almost kicked themselves out of that game.
Wasn't there only 4 different goal scorers or something like that for the whole game?
Yeah, up until the fourth quarter, 4 different goal scorers.
4 different goal scorers, yeah. Dixon, Smith, Bonton. Oh, yeah, there was like 4 different goal scorers. So
Dixon, Smith, Cordy, and I'm trying to remember who the other one was.
Did Stringer get one? Oh, Caleb Daniel, I think.
Before then.
It was only Cordy, Bottombelly, Daniel, and Smith got a goal.
That's right.
I think. Oh, and Dixon.
Or McRae or someone. McRae, yeah.
But yeah, I think I really like his game, Smith. So, and if there's one weakness of our number 1 ranked defence, it's when the ball hits the deck. We can be a bit crap.
Well, with Jones Jones and Mills back in is definitely going to fix that for us.
That's if Mills can run. Like, you're asking a kid at 19 years old with a hamstring injury to come back and play off no fitness. I just don't know if it's unfair to expect much from Mills.
Well, he's a 19-year-old who almost made All-Australian and probably should have been in the All-Australian team, even for a debut season.
Yeah, but he's had a quarter of finals footy in his career.
3
But
weeks.
look at Caleb Daniel as well. Caleb Daniel was second in Rising Star, so.
And he almost shut down the Giants.
But the
I don't know.
He dominated the Hawthorn game. He was probably best on in the Hawthorn game, or close to it.
Now, I was having a look at the team we played against them earlier on the year, where we kicked ourselves out of the match and lost by 4 points and a shitty after siren kick. But earlier on in the year, we played Nankervis, Sinclair, and Rose and Towers in the team.
Well, there's your problem right there, Sinclair. You just said it. Absolute dud.
Towers, absolutely awful. And McVeigh, who will hopefully come back into the team. Compared to what we played last week, we had Marsh, Aaliyah, Tippett, Naismith, and Papley.
Buddy kicking that day was shit. 5 goals, 4. I think
Didn't they have a few good outs as well? Didn't Dalhouse not play and a few others?
Dalhouse didn't play for them.
Clay Smith?
No, Clay Smith played.
Oh, did he? So
they had that
Dale Smith,
Webb kid in too.
Roughhead didn't play.
Roughhead didn't play, okay. Did Adams play that day on, Buddy?
Adams?
Yeah, Adams played.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So it's probably going to be Hamley or Morris. Did Morris play?
Yeah, Morris he played.
Okay. So,
now, the other one I was also thinking about going into this weekend as well, the other big factor for us, we had Heaney greatly out of form at that time as well. He only got 4 disposals that day. That was when he started getting rested from the side.
And
what did McGlynn get, 9?
Yeah, McGlynn got 9. Rowan only got 7. Sinclair got 7, hopefully. And
I remember Nick
7.
Smith was pretty shit too.
Yes.
Didn't our top midfielders get all 30 odd? Which is a little bit of a worry because normally when our midfield dominate, we win.
Boyd got 32, Hunter got 31, Bontempelli got 29. Pickens
you've been on our team. Parker, Hanbury, and Kennedy.
Parker, Hanbury, Kennedy, yeah.
Didn't they all get 30 plus? And normally when, them guys
Yeah, they did.
30 plus, we win, which is
But everyone else was shit.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Sinclair took a mark that game. I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was when
probably at half time or something in the warm up.
That was a fitness test on the side when after the stretcher.
Well, we actually should have
had her out in Delisty now.
Send him back to fucking Port Melbourne.
So yes,
he wouldn't get a kick in the VFL. That fucking
kick up the arse, maybe.
Well, at least he played more games than Jetta.
Yeah.
So
I'd
what?
still rather
Jetta.
Jetta.
Still take Jetta back in a heartbeat.
Oh, would you take this year's Jetta back?
Yeah.
I'd trade Sinclair and give him a draft pick back to get Jetta back. That's how shit Sinclair is.
Yeah.
We'd have to.
Sorry, we're talking about the grand final, aren't we, boys?
It's alright, and it's all good, Banner. Yeah, I was just wondering, because look, it's from our side, I know they were missing a few players as well, but from our point of view, I think that's a lot of changes.
Can I give you my honest opinion? It doesn't matter flying frig who won the last game or who played or any of that crap. Once you get to the grand final, it's just anyone, two teams. You're not going to get Brisbane or Essendon in the grand final. Anyone can win. It doesn't matter who's got the wood over who. Go back a few years ago, Collingwood had the wood over us and we beat them in the prelim to get to the granny or whatever. I think it was 2012. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, 2012.
They're a good side and we'll have to play bloody well to beat them, and we should beat them.
And another thing is setting the tone. That's the one. I reckon that's the number one thing. You have to set the tone early. If you're just going to, I think Sydney, as I said, have to go after them, just like Hawthorn set the tone in us in 14. You know what I mean? Roughhead went after Hanbury, and they went after us and set the tone, and we shit ourselves. You know what I mean? I think that's what we have to do with the Dogs, because if you don't set the tone early and go after them and be brutal, well, they're always going to think they're in the game. Then, do you know what I mean? And it'll eventually, you never know. I think we have to go out of them and intimidate them.
Yep, because if you look at, if we go positive, look at 2012, Hanbury jumped into that mark, didn't give a crap, he got belted into, Jetta ran off the wing, Malcheski pulls the goal over his arse. We set the tone that day that, hey, we're here and we're not going away. Whereas 2014, they got off the bus with a dummy in their mouth and thought, well, geez, we're shit hot, and got smashed.
Yeah, that first goal looked like, oh yeah, we're on, and then.
But even if you watch it, I've watched that replay, I don't know why. We sort of, Kieran Jack could have kicked that goal, but can't swing onto his wrong foot, and then Sam Reid could have kicked the goal and farts in the goal square like usual. Hawks run away. We sort of had to do this linky handball and Kennedy bomb it to get that first goal. It wasn't convincing. Hawks had it in hand pretty early that day. We never looked right. So you're right.
I still remember that Jetta kick out in I think it was either the second or the fourth quarter. Because that was the end of the ground I was at, and it just sailed back over his head about 4 seconds later for a goal from Hodge or something like that.
And there's
was no doubt Rowan, wasn't it?
No, it was Jetta's kick out.
I thought Rowan kicked it straight to Hodge and he bombed it
or maybe
over his head for a goal.
Rowan kicked it out and Benny McGlynn just stood there as if the game was over, and Hodge ran in front of him, and Hodge ain't got no pace. Benny McGlynn just stood there.
Exactly. That's right.
And then there was a Jetta kick out where the same thing happened, which just went straight to Hawthorn player and straight back over his head.
Yeah, but you can't tell me that Clarkson didn't say to Roughhead, go after Hanbury, go after.
Of course not. I mean, absolutely they've done that.
Yeah,
and that's what you have to do in a grand final. You've got to get in there, you've got to be physical, and you've got to intimidate. You've got to stamp it.
Yeah, you watch Buddy, he'll go after him on the weekend. There's no two ways about it, and I just hope other players can follow. I know we're not that sort of team, but I really do hope that Benny McGlynn and a couple others try and rough up a few blokes, because I think you have to set the tone early and just get them on the back foot and get them a bit put fear in their minds.
Even 2 weeks ago, when Mumford was going after Buddy and Stevie J's clanging in, we stood back and watched it happen.
Yep.
No one came in and said, protect the best bloody 9-year, $10 million deal. You might want to protect him. He's a match winner. Get in there and bloody help him. Brian Lake caves his head in 2014. Where's someone to help him?
Yeah.
Yep. Set the tone early, because if you don't set the tone early, then they won't be afraid. You know what I mean? At all. They'll just play there.
And that comes down to if the captain's going to put his hand up and say, "Yeah, I'm fit, fellas. I'll play me." Then he's got to be a big part of that, I reckon, coming in. And we talked about his tackling. It's not even tackles. It's just physicality, getting the ball, making your presence felt, and show that we're here. You want to win this, you're going to have to play bloody well. And the other issue is, and you can call me a sook all you like, everyone, but the Dogs umpiring this year's 100 free kicks more than against. That's ridiculous, and surely that won't happen on a grand final again, but I hope someone's aware of that shit that they're getting away with.
Well, with Stevic's in there, he's going to be against us. He's going to think it's Hawthorn again.
As I said, I don't want him to go out and, start Elton blokes and stuff like that. That's not a thing, but I just want him to swarm players, as in on the weekend where you got 2 or 3 Swans players tackling one Geelong bloke, and the player thinks, I can't be bothered getting the ball again because these pricks are going to fucking smash me. You know what I mean? That's the fear you want to put in the Dogs' mind. You want to say, I don't want to fucking put my head over the ball because I'm going to get smashed by about 3 Swans. That's what you want to say.
It feels like a different game. It's a different game. They're like, shit, this is on. I like Buddy on the weekend. Handballs to tip it goal. He's right in Lonigan's face you can't stop me. You don't even belong on the field with me, mate. That's what we want to see.
Well, the one thing GWS didn't really do was, they tackled and pressured, but it didn't seem like they were really that up in their face. The Dogs could have run away with that game a lot earlier.
Well, Jeremy Cameron, did he even turn up yet? Because he was shit as.
Yeah, one touch up until the end of the third quarter. He was shit as.
Yeah. definitely.
So, I think that's one of the, even though the Hawks put down 100 tackles and they only got 3 free kicks, as, like I will bitch about, but they didn't really have, they had pressure in the last game, but they didn't really have the sort of pressure that we gave to Geelong. I don't think they did anyway. But they had to bring it to GWS, but GWS didn't bring it back as much. And you could see it in the last quarter. They slacked off and Dogs were working their asses off to win the game. And GWS just stopped, and that was really it. When Johannesson ran through the centre and drilled it in and they got the goal from that, that was pretty much the writing on the wall. They weren't going to get another goal.
I think GWS attitude was pretty poor. They're just so talented they stayed in the game. In my opinion,
they'll
learn a hell of a lot from that, unfortunately, and be better for it next year. But yeah, they didn't come at the right intensity like they did week 1 when they got into us. They just got caught up in the physical a bit too much, which is where you can go wrong.
Well, I mean, if both teams are scrapping after each quarter break like they were, it was
every stoppage.
Yeah.
They were just jumping.
I think Ward going down was massive. Because he would have probably pulled that shit, back a little bit and said, let's focus on the game. And he stands up at the right moments too. Ward, he's pretty underrated player, you know what I mean? But, might have been...
And Heath Shaw's lost the plot a bit.
Oh, yeah. He was carrying on like a bloody pork chop down in the back pocket, screaming at his teammates. Never even seen that from the Swans. Only McPoyney does that, and he doesn't even do it as much.
Yeah, true.
He doesn't do it like that, though.
No, he just points and says, you cocked that up. But yeah, look, I think if we're able to bring our intensity to Dogs, I think they're going to really struggle. They're going to struggle with their handball game, and their ball use going forward has been absolutely atrocious this final series. No two ways about it. They might have scored a lot of goals against Hawthorn, but they got a lot of goals, easy one-on-ones and out the backs. Other than that, their balls forward were just shocking against GWS.
Okay, do we have predictions for this weekend? So we'll go a prediction, a sure thing, and a Brownlow medal tip. Swans rule?
Brownlow medal. Well, having watched what he gets away with on the weekend, I think Dangerfield will win it, probably quite comfortably. I know he's favourite, but I think he'll get 34 votes. Because you can't tackle him. That's why he gets so many contested possessions. But he is a gun, don't get me wrong. Prediction for the game. Look... I hate jinxing it and everything, but if you had said I could have the Dogs a few weeks ago, I would have said pretty confident, though I do really rate them and I think their speed troubles us. But I think grand final day, if we play our best, I think we've just got too much up forward. So midfield gets on top, Swans win. They have a habit of making us sweat on grand final day, so I'll say 17 points. They won't let us know it's over too late. Norm Smith, I'm going to say Buddy will actually win Norm Smith. He'll kick 5 goals. And get 20 odd possessions. Sure thing. I don't know. Bob Murphy to be interviewed for about 56 minutes of AFL 360 tomorrow, and then pop up on the couch, and then probably get a handy from Robbo on Thursday night before the game as well. And they'll just be licking Murphy's juice off themselves by the end of the week, I reckon.
Punts?
My prediction is. Well, we turn up like we did on the weekend. We win by 6 goals, 7 goals plus. Brownlow medal, you can't go past Dangerfield. He's probably going to win it by a fair length. Best on will be Luke Parker. Luke Parker will win the Norm Smith. And my sure thing is the Dogs will get a runner-ups medal, probably, on the day. Because they're just so brave.
Okay, Chunky?
Oh, that's harsh. Oh, they can get a medal for participation. Give it to them at least.
Like
Brownlow, yeah, of course, Dangerfield. Just the way he uses it, though, it's kind of criminal that he's going to win at a time. He's a great player, but whatever. Sure thing. I don't know. Yeah, I reckon there's going to be a bit of a circle jerk on the AFL 360 and throughout the week on the AFL side about the Dogs and how courageous they are and against the odds and all that sort of nonsense. And then this is going to be a bit too much, I think. Norm Smith, I reckon Heaney's had an awesome final series so far, and I reckon he can continue doing that. Really looking forward to him just busting in on the grand final. And Swans by 4 goals. I reckon we're going to finally break that barrier. 10 points for a grand final win. Sure as hell would be nice.
Okay, my Brownlow prediction is Kennedy to get the most votes at the Swans. He will outvote Parker. My prediction for the grand final, I believe we'll win by around 30 points. If we turn up, that is. If we turn up, I think our football's just a little bit too strong for the Dogs, and I'm secretly hoping that they feel like they played their grand final last week to see them all crying in the rooms and celebrating and that. Hoping they may be a little bit emotionally checked out. Not to mention we'll come out breathing out fire, especially after 2014. My prediction for the Norm Smith medal is for Josh Kennedy to finally get his own Norm Smith. He's been brilliant for us for years, and I reckon he'll make a massive stamp on the game and get at least 40 disposals. Anyways, everyone, thank you for listening to this special edition of the Swans Bigfooty Podcast. Fingers crossed for Saturday, and I really am looking forward to next Sunday and watching the main board melt about our academies yet again. Thank you, everyone.
Let's kill some dogs.
Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
All right, good.